Glarner with the Florida Aviation Network, and we are here celebrating 14 years at the terminal building at Sebring Regional Airport, where we're celebrating the U.S. Sport and Aviation Expo. I am absolutely honored today to be here with Beverly Glarner. Beverly, you are the project manager, so basically you are the woman behind the green curtain here. Tell me a little bit about your involvement. When did you get involved with the expo? And it's such an honor to have you here. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Well, my involvement is I have been with the executive offices of the airport for about 10 years, going on 11.
Wow.
And the expo was started by about 4 or 5 individuals, and the airport took over the expo about 6 years ago.
Bob Wood was one of those people.
Bob Wood, Phil Lockwood,
Yes.
Dr. Owen, and Mike Willingham, one of the executive directors, was part of that.
Yep.
So once the airport took over the production of the expo, if you will, I kind of got involved in the back end of it, in planning how it was going to be set up.
Okay.
And last year I was really the director over the expo, and we changed it up completely, as in that we changed the footprint.
Excellent.
Yes, the footprint, we wanted everybody to come through our beautiful terminal.
Yes.
Because a lot of people never got to our terminal because the expo was down the ramp on the north end. So we brought it through the middle of the terminal, and then it spilled out onto the ramp going north and south.
Okay.
So that's our footprint now. We've had positive, overwhelmingly positive responses from all the vendors and the attendees, thinking that it's much easier to find everything at Expo.
That is awesome. Now talk to me a little bit. I have to tell you, this is my first year here at Sebring. It has been fabulous. I actually had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Lockwood. He was on air, so I got to talk with him. So how wonderful to speak to one of the founders as well. But tell me a little bit, how did you change it this year? It seems like, based on what I see and the crowds going through, that it's bigger and better, and that's what I'm hearing from the crowds and just the voices that keep going by. So tell us a little bit about what our guests can expect when they come, and how did it change from last year?
Well, what you can expect is lots and lots of beautiful aircraft, that's for sure, and lots of indoor exhibits that you can go and visit. What we did this year is we took some of the advice of some of the tenants that came last year, the vendors, and we moved the indoor exhibitor tent closer to the terminal building, so that they weren't so far away, if you will. So when you first go onto the ramp into Expo, you can go left and go right into the exhibitor tent, indoor exhibitor tent. So that was a little bit of a change, and we also put all of our forums together. And they are all located down by the show tent this year. So that was a little bit of a change. Because of the setup and how the vendors and exhibitors loved how we changed that, I think that they networked better on their end in spreading the word to their customers and to know that they can come and see them at Expo. So I think the traffic is up from last year. And of course, you know, we always have to thank God for our beautiful weather.
Absolutely.
We've got warm, sunny weather, but it's a little bit windy today.
Now, I understand it's not as windy today as it was yesterday. So we got a little bit of a break.
Yes, a little bit of a break, and tomorrow should even be calmer. So with the showcases, we have a manufacturer showcase that goes on at 10:30 and 2:30 every day, where a manufacturer can actually go and showcase their aircraft.
Wow.
And they get to fly low and in front of the crowd, so everybody can see their aircraft.
No, now I must ask you, because I know Sebring is near and dear to your heart. I did a little homework, and I understand you graduated from Sebring High School. And that was only a couple of years ago, of course.
Yes.
So did you grow up in this area? And, you know, talk to me a little bit. I think people forget the impact that these types of shows and these type of expos have on the community, and really bringing a community together. So would you be willing to speak to that? And I didn't mean to throw you off there. I always do my homework.
No, that's fine. And thank you for the compliment that it was just a few years ago,
absolutely.
graduating high school. We all knew that's not true. But yes, I was born and raised in Sebring. So being a Sebringite, if you will, my parents have a business here that has grown throughout, and we've had economic downturn like everybody else, but things are thriving back in the community now since the recession. So having a show like the Expo come to a small GA airport like Sebring, we always use the airport as an economic development tool.
Yes.
When Mike and I are talking to vendors out here to try to attract them to come to Sebring and to Highlands County,
right.
We say we're an economic development tool, and we just happen to have a runway. So that always intrigues them, and being the only and first airport that has a CRA, we have dollars to be able to attract people to come to Sebring.
Right.
And with that in mind, all of the hotels and restaurants in the area love to have the expo here because it brings a lot of people to the area.
They're packed.
Yes.
You can't get a room.
Yes.
I have to tell you. No, absolutely.
Absolutely. And another thing we try to do, and I'll just kind of feed into this, is the YAS program.
I was just going to ask you, and go ahead and that's an acronym.
Yes.
And I know most people know that stands for youth, but go ahead and expound on that because you and I are on the same wavelength. Perfect.
So the YAS program I introduced last year, and that is the Young Aviator Zone. And my vision there, again, was how do we get our local high school students to know and to get involved in aviation.
Okay.
And not only aviation to be a pilot, which is great, but we are in the middle of the state, so we're a little bit economically depressed a little because we're cattle and citrus.
Right.
So my vision was to get these high school students to think outside the box. When I say aviation, you can go into engineering, you can go into planning. There's all kinds of things that you can get into aviation. So with YAS, I went to the area high schools, talked to the AVID teachers, the STEM, and ROTC.
Yes.
So this year we're going to have about 800 students, 750 to 800 students that will visit us over the 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And those are the schools in Highlands County. So they're bringing their students here.
Right.
Now, talk to me a little bit about what are the students going to experience when they come through? Yes, is it hands-on? What types of things are they going to experience?
Well, that's exactly right, and that's what my vision is to have key speakers for them that would motivate them and tell them how they got into the aviation world and how they can get a career where they would have to go away for college, but then they can come back home and come back to Sebring to have viable jobs that pay well in the aviation industry. And that's what YAS does with those students. They talk to our speakers, and then they're able to go out throughout the show and actually have hands-on talking to pilots, talking to the manufacturers of the aircraft, sitting in them, because there's a lot of kids here in Highlands County that's never even touched an airplane or even been close to one. So that in itself, just to introduce that to them.
And sometimes that's all they need is you just need that little spark. And sometimes, like you said, it's just the matter of sitting in an aircraft, and that's absolutely amazing. Now, I have to ask you, do you fly?
I do not.
You don't?
I do not.
Okay. All right. Is that something, did you ever have an aspiration to fly? No. And that's all right, because we need people on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I love my job here at the airport because I get to meet so many interesting people and people in the industry. I love it. I just don't I just don't fly, and I'm not afraid of it, and I go up with a lot of people, but I don't think I'm smart enough to be a pilot.
Well, I assure you that I'm sure that you are. Now, talk to me a little bit. You have a wonderful EAA chapter here, the Heartland chapter.
Yes.
And I know that Mr. Lockwood mentioned it, Mr. Bosch certainly. Can you talk to us a little bit about what they do not only to support the Sport Aviation Expo, but what do they also do to help support you with your vision of the youth and for the youth?
Well, what they do for us is they have their Young Eagles program.
Right.
And actually there are a couple of students that were here last year, I believe, from YAS.
Awesome.
that I connected John Roush with and the student, and now he is flying. And actually, this young man, I think he was awarded their scholarship this year, just the other day, and he's actually working for the FBO now.
Really?
Here at the airport, yes. So they are very instrumental. They, from last year, I'm sure one of them had mentioned that Story Musgrave bought an air cam, and they donated it to the Young Eagles program so those kids can put it together.
Yes.
So the airport's always helping out EAA, because when they have their Young Eagles programs where the kids can come fly for free, the airport donates the fuel for them.
Wow.
So we're all about getting the kids out here, but getting their parents out here so they can see what their child's experiencing, and to be able, just because you never know what child you're going to touch. And who's going to go off with it.
Exactly. No, that's phenomenal. Now, can you talk to us a little bit for the guests that may not be here right now, but that are going to be coming tomorrow? Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the highlights that you've planned for today? I had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Knock, and I know that you've got, and it's perfect because you've got the racetrack and you've got everything right here in Sebring. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the highlights, and maybe some of the highlights you had yesterday, and some things that people can look forward to?
Well, again, I keep pushing my baby, which is
push
Yaz.
Your baby. That's it.
Which
That's
is
all
Yaz.
right.
Yaz
I'm
is
a teacher by trade, so
you are,
and I'm an AVID coordinator. So absolutely. So
I hit you really good.
So I tell you what, you just push all you want. We're good. We're good.
Well, Yaz program is going to be at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So we're going to have guest speakers there. It'll be on Captain Romani again, and I'm sure that you probably have interviewed her. But she will be there. I think part of the NOAA hurricane team is going to be there as well.
Because the Hurricane Hunter is now housed in Lakeland, KLAL. They moved it. So the team, that's a wonderful aircraft.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So they're going to be here to talk?
I believe that there is a speaker on that.
Awesome.
On that. So
fantastic.
That will be here. Our showcases, of course, our manufacturing showcases are at 10:30 and 2:30.
Okay.
And I believe that Captain Knox is going to be at noon again with the Batmobile.
Yes.
And that's a big draw for the kids.
Absolutely.
And I mean, the kids, the little kids now probably may not know who Batman is, but as big kids, teach our little kids. So
exactly.
That's
and it's still the Batmobile and the Batcopter. It doesn't matter how old you are, 2 or 92. They're still two of the coolest things you'll see.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If you haven't been out to the expo, you need to come out to see all the aircraft. But that's pretty cool to see.
And I understand Mr. Lockwood said that Dr. Musgrave is actually a guest speaker for the Heartland chapter at the EAA tonight as well.
Tonight at their dinner, and then he will be the 1:30 guest speaker for tomorrow.
Wow, that is awesome. Well, I tell you what, I know you are extraordinarily busy, and I know I just got word from the producer, and I know that you are being pulled in several different directions. We cannot thank you enough for your vision and for your heart, and as a teacher, thank you for your heart for our youth in the future, and that is really your motto this year, is flying into the future.
Yes.
And we thank you so much. And Beverly, thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Oh, thank you.
No, this is awesome. My name is Lori Bradner. I'm with the Florida Aviation Network, and we are here celebrating 14 years, which is amazing, of the U.S. Sport and Aviation Expo. We're at Sebring Regional Airport. Please come see us here in the terminal. Don't miss any of the trade show. Come see these fabulous planes that are here. We've got a beautiful day, and we actually have light winds today.
Yes.
So we look forward to seeing you here.